record the beginning. So my apologies. We don't need to do the introductions again, but you can open the meeting and the hearing, Sue.
Okay. We welcome everyone to today's fact-finding hearing. Today's date is Wednesday, January 19, 2022. All parties related to this hearing, in addition to technical support provided by the Office of Human Rights, are participating via Zoom for government. As a reminder, please place your cell phones on silent or turn them off. Please remember that the chat feature of Zoom is not confidential. Participants should refrain from using this feature. Any public portion of this meeting will be recorded. Closed session will not be recorded. We will now begin. The LHRC members had already identified themselves, and this is for the petitioner. Ma'am, how would you like to be addressed during the hearing?
If you can address me as Miss Atanat.
Very good.
Can you pronounce your last name again? Atanat?
Atanat. It's O-T-T-I-N-O-T. Atanat.
Atanat. Okay. Each party to the hearing has a right to reasonable notice of the hearing, speedy and impartial review, appearance in person and or representative at the hearing, to be heard, present facts and proof, including witnesses and documents, a prompt decision, an explanation of the basis of the decision, appeal, an adverse decision to the State Human Rights Committee. And then there are also additional client rights, the right to access information processed by the Fairfax Falls Church Community Services Board, unless such information is restricted from disclosure, an open hearing upon request, confidentiality, freedom from retaliation. Ms. Atanat, I'm sorry, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong.
You are in full liberty to go ahead and butcher it. You just do what you do. I have no issue.
Okay. You have the right to an open hearing where information discussed about you is available to the public and anyone can be present during the hearing, or a closed hearing where all matters are confidential and only the people sitting around the table can be present. Do you wish a closed or open hearing?
Well, since the witness, Anna Atanat, does not want her testimony to be made public, but everything else in my hearing can be public.
It's an all or nothing sort of thing, so I'm sorry that it's not one or the other.
When you say it's open to the public, does that mean that it can be uploaded to like a public domain? Because I'm sure there's nobody in the public here now. So what are we saying?
So I'm going to pause you because another individual has entered the meeting and it's someone related to the provider. So her audio is connected. So Joan, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Joan Rogers, and I'm the Director of Quality Improvement with the Fairfax Falls Church Community Services Board.
Thank you, Joan. I apologize, Ms. Atanat. So what in general happens is that like public meetings, there is, as I said, we're recording it, so that video is uploaded to the DBHES channel. So it would be viewable to anyone having access to the internet.
Okay. I would just have to verify, would she be okay with that? Because I know that she's by phone, so maybe it wouldn't be an issue, but I definitely want this public, but I'm just not sure if that's something that she wants.
Okay, well, let's proceed and we'll see. So you're Well, in that case, if you're in sort of an in-between, then I would leave it up to ultimately, it is the LHRC's determination whether it's open or closed. They do ask you your preference, but as it is the LHRC's process, they're the ones who ultimately decide whether it's open or closed. They ask for the petitioner's opinion, but it is the LHRC who decides. So
Okay, I'm putting it out there that I would like it open.
Okay,
In the event, and I'm going to ask the Madam Chair's permission, in the event that the witness doesn't want it public, that we can come back to that question in the end and just at least give her a chance to answer that. Because I wouldn't want that to be something that she wasn't okay with, because at the end of the day, I'm very mindful of, how people, in respecting people's privacy.
okay, thank you. You can continue, Sue.
May it be noted for the record that the Northern Virginia Hospital Local Human Rights Committee is concerned with the preservation of client privacy and confidentiality of medical records. For this reason, we wish to assure at this time that the right to a closed hearing pursuant to Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A 15, paragraph 15, has been thoroughly reviewed with the complaint on behalf of the subject of the record. Ms. Ottenott is authorizing the disclosure of information that would be exempt from public dissemination.
Very good.
May it also be noted for the record that while the Northern Virginia Hospital Local Human Rights Committee is concerned with the preservation of client privacy and confidentiality of medical record and has taken into consideration the petitioner's stated preference, the LHRC also wishes to ensure the confidentiality of persons who are not a party to the complaint, and therefore make the recommendation for the hearing to be closed.
So if the LHRC is in agreement with that, there needs to be a motion, a second, and then we'll do a roll call vote for that. So the recommendation is the chair is recommending a closed session hearing. So if the LHRC is in agreement with that, again, taking into consideration all that has been said so far, then the LHRC member needs to make a motion, a second, and then I'll roll call it.
I motion for a closed session.
Celia,
I
thank
second
you.
that motion.
Cheryl, thank you. Sue, are you in agreement with the motion to have it be closed?
Yes.
Cheryl, are you in agreement with the motion for the hearing to be closed?
Yes.
Kathy, are you in agreement with the motion for the hearing to be closed?
Yes.
Celia, are you in agreement?
Yes.
Donalda, are you in agreement?
Yes, I'm also in the waiting room when you get a moment.
Is it have the word reunion in it?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to admit you and then you can click off on that. Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, Juanita, are you in agreement with the recommendation for it to be a closed hearing?
Yes.
Very good. So Donalda is connecting through off of the phone and she's going to be on video feed in a second. So we'll let her connect to that. And I'll let you continue while she does that. Cheryl, you're ready whenever you are. Yep, thank you.
Ms. Ottenott will present evidence and testimony first, followed by Fairfax Falls Church CSB. Each party will have 5 minutes for an opening statement, 20 minutes to present pertinent issues, and another 5 minutes for closing statements. The 20-minute presentation of issues may include witness testimony.
So just as an FYI, since we do have witnesses and obviously we have technical things that happen, when you're ready to do your witnesses, whether it's the CSB or the petitioner, you let me know. I will pause the clock. We'll allow them to enter the meeting, do introductions, and then we'll resume the clock. So the time that it takes to get someone into the meeting will not be counted against that 20 minutes. Just want to remind everyone of that. You can continue, Sue.
question.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know if the exhibits that I sent, or if we're going to be using the universal screening form?
So the petition is complete. It was completed back in December, so no new exhibits by either party can be added. You are allowed to discuss it during your presentation, but it is not entered into facts and evidence because the petition has already been completed. There's no way to allow for those things to be added once it's completed because both parties get to see it. So there's no opportunity to do that. So again, you can reference it and discuss it in your presentation, but it would not be admitted as an exhibit, no.
Do you know if the opposing party, if they provided the universal screening form as evidence?
I believe that they did not. You should have gotten a copy of everything that they presented or that they submitted back. That was emailed to you, but I do not recall that being one of their exhibits.
Okay, I'm going to motion then or request that we redo or reschedule this hearing, because at the end of the day, what's in question is the fact that the CSB did not provide or perform an evaluation. That's what I put as my complaint. If the screening form, which I thought maybe they provided, it just dawned on me today.
So let me pause you, and I apologize if I misunderstood you. What you had sent was not the pre-screening form. The provider did supply the pre-screening form that was completed that is the subject of this hearing. So that was provided by Fairfax in their petition response. So the pre-screening form that is the subject, that they do have that, yes.
So the one that I sent is not the same thing that you guys have?
That's not the pre-screening, no.
So what is that?
I don't know. That's from Inova. I don't know what it is.
Oh, no, Inova made a copy because they had to have a copy. That's the only way I was able to get it, was through my medical records, because I was not, according to Virginia statute, you know, we're not going to debate that today. Why is it so hard for a patient to get a copy of this record, right? But I found it in my Inova record. So I want to know if that's the same thing that they submitted so that we can proceed today. Because if it's not,
they submit the pre-screen. I did not do a comparison, but the pre-screening assessment is what was submitted as an exhibit by the provider. Yes.
And
okay.
the pre-screen assessment is what's in question.
Right.
Yes.
And that was provided by Fairfax. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
You're welcome. So
Okay,
you can
should I
continue.
go on?
Yep. Thank you.
In keeping with guidance from the State Human Rights Committee, the Northern Virginia Hospital LHRC will not entertain cross-examination of witnesses by the other party. The LHRC may ask questions of either of the parties and their respective witnesses. In addition, parties to the complaint will be encouraged to answer questions in a concise manner as possible and follow the directions of the chair in response to questions. And when notified that time is limited, if necessary, the chair may use the mute feature of the Zoom meeting to ensure an orderly hearing is conducted. The LHRC will go into executive closed session for deliberation and intent to deliver a summary finding within 10 working days following this hearing, Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Either party maintains the right to appeal an adverse decision to the State Human Rights Committee. A statement, a request for the fact-finding hearing was filed by Jen Englund, Region 2 Human Rights Advocate, on the behalf of Ms. Otnott. The petition being heard by the committee today alleges violation of the human rights regulations. At this time, the committee will begin the hearing.
So once the statement to go into closed session is read, I will stop the recording and then we'll be in closed session. So if you want to read that, Sue.
Whereas the Northern Virginia Hospitals Local Human Rights Committee desires to discuss in closed session client-related matters, and whereas pursuant to Virginia Code 2.1344A, paragraph 15, for the protection of the privacy of the individuals and their records in personal matters not related to public business, such discussions may occur in closed session. Now therefore be it resolved that the Northern Virginia Hospitals Local Human Rights Committee does hereby authorize discussions of the aforestated matters in closed session.
Can I have a second from one of the members?
I second that, Donalda.
Thanks, Donalda. Then a roll call vote. Sue, are you in agreement?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Celia?
Yes.
Donalda?
Yes.
Juanita?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to put pause and we will now be in closed session. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Whereas the Northern Virginia Hospitals Local Human Rights Committee has this day adjourned into closed session in accordance with a formal vote of the committee and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas the Freedom of Information Act requires certification that such closed session was conducted in conformity with the law, now therefore be it resolved that the Northern Virginia Hospitals Local Human Rights Committee does hereby certify that to the best of their knowledge, only matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements and only such matters for the protection of the privacy of the individuals and their records and personal matters not related to public businesses were heard, discussed, or considered.
Can I have a second?
Second,
Who is that?
Donalda.
Thanks, Donalda. So when I call your name, please say, so certify. Sue?
So certify.
Cheryl?
So certified.
Kathy?
So certified.
Celia?
So certified.
Donalda?
So certified.
Juanita?
So certified.
Very good, thank you. So we're going to record the first vote, and so it is the regulation 60B2. Do you agree that there was no violation? It's a yes or a no. Sue?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Celia?
Yes.
Donalda?
Yes.
And Juanita?
Yes.
So no violation, unanimous 6-6. On the second violation of 60B8, again, the motion is it for it to be no violation. Sue?
No violation. I mean, yes.
Yes, no violation. Very good. Cheryl?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Celia?
Yes.
Donalda?
Yes.
Juanita?
Yes.
Very good. And again, the recommendation is unanimous. I mean, the vote is unanimous. With regard to the recommendations, the first recommendation is that the Fairfax Falls Church CSB review their policies on emergency services pre-screen assessments to ensure it is accurate, comprehensive, and compliant with all applicable regulations and standards. That is the first one. The second one is that if the review determines the need for revisions, the provider will conduct retraining based upon the changes made to the provider's policy. So is there a motion to accept those two recommendations?
Motion to accept the two recommendations.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kathy and Celia. And I'm going to affirm the vote. Sue?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Celia?
Thanks,
Yes.
baby.
Donalda?
Yes.
Juanita?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair. Having completed all the business on the agenda, you may call the meeting closed. And state
Having
that.
completed the identified business of the LHRC, I call the meeting adjourned at 10:42.
I'm going to stop recording.